Today is the 6th of April. I'm going to look at the updated stats of how the coronavirus has been going along. So currently, what we're looking at just now is 2 days ago in the morning. So maybe 2.5 days, we'll call it. So the 4th of April, we're at 1,119,000 total confirmed cases. The USA in the lead now with 278,000 cases. Death tolls, though, Italy is still at the top, Spain just after that, then France. So actually the UK, the USA isn't down here as a single entity, but we can see that the maximum cases, it was still increasing, just popping up over 80, maybe 84,000 new confirmed cases then. So let's go see what it looks like updated. And the numbers, just 2 days later, we'll call that 2.5 days later, we're now up to 1,289,000. So here's the most up-to-date stats going on here. So yeah, a day and a half difference. We're now up to 1,289,380 confirmed cases. Again, the confirmed cases aren't necessarily the actual number. That's just the number of people that have been tested and proved positive. Many people may have had the condition and not had it or not had any symptoms. Total deaths has risen significantly. That's up to 70,590 total deaths. So in 2.5 days, that's 11,653 additional deaths that have occurred. And it looks like the daily increase, certainly yesterday, was very high. That went over the 100,000 mark. In fact, if we click on it, 101.5 thousand new confirmed cases. And then yesterday, 74. So big drop on Sunday. It seems like always on a Sunday we have a much lower number. Here 7 days ago it dropped from there as well. It dropped from 67 down to 59. So big drops usually on a Sunday. Don't quite know the reasoning behind that. In terms of deaths, unfortunately Italy is still at the top. Spain very quickly catching up with 13,000. France at 8,000, the UK almost at 5,000. I think today we will probably, once our numbers come in, be at the 5,000 mark there. So we are well past Iran here as well. Iran being one of the places that was considered to be like hardest hit when this first started off. Anyway, it was China and Iran were like the two big problems there. Then just the single state of New York City, of New York, 3,000. So that is behind. That's pretty scary for America, being all that. I think. Hold on. If I click on admin, I don't think it gives us confirmed deaths for anything there. So one of the things that's come out in the news recently has been that Sweden has had a different policy to a lot of the other countries. Sweden has not bothered to enforce much of a lockdown at all. They were saying, hey, we don't have too many incidents, too many cases, not very many people dying from it, and they were being shown as a beacon of going, see, look, they didn't need to close down their economy, they're doing absolutely fine. Sweden aren't doing absolutely fine. They're just behind the curve, I think is the best way to describe it. So if we look at Sweden just now, granted, it's only 7,000 cases, only 477 deaths. But as we can see, there's quite a strong direction of the number of cases being reported. It is definitely going up the way. Logarithmic, kind of a straight line there. Confirmed cases, definitely going up pretty fast, pretty hard. If we compare that to, let's see, Israel, which was above it. They had one big day and then petered out. Sweden, on the other hand, still definitely going up the way. If we compare Sweden's direction of their graph with, let's say, Switzerland, which has 3 times as much, that's looking like a better graph. Although it's still terrible, it's now starting, there is a pattern going down the way. Sweden, not going down the way. Turkey, let's see that one. Turkey's pretty bad. You don't want to be there. The UK, pretty horrific. Going really not in the path that we're wanting it to go on. Iran, there's a path coming down the way, so that's looking good. And China, you can see it's just flatlined. So China seems to be out of it. If we look at Italy, Italy's probably been in lockdown for the longest of these top numbers of cases, and they are definitely not going much higher than what they did. What was that? 20? What's it? 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 15 days. So 2 weeks ago, that was their peak. And there is definitely a direction coming down the way. So when people are saying, oh, Sweden, they're doing absolutely fine, it's not that they're doing fine, they're just behind the curve. So their curve starts wait, when do they get up to 100 cases? So firstly they got, it was the 3rd or the 10th of January, February, March. What was Italy? Where did they get to their 100 cases? Will it show me? The 26th of February. So we're talking about a little bit of a difference going on there, but theirs went up pretty significantly. Meanwhile, to say Sweden is a shining example of how it should be done, not necessarily. Additionally, a lot of the population in Sweden is fairly more scattered about, and from what I've been told, they are generally more insular than the rest of the world. Additionally, they have been given advice. Some of the schools have been closed, and some of the universities have moved to online. So it's not the case of, granted, their government hasn't gone into full lockdown, but to say that they've done nothing isn't actually the correct answer. But yeah, in terms of their caseload, it's definitely in an upward trend here. Russia, a place that said we don't have any cases here. I watched a video the other day where there's people in Russia saying, oh, you can't get coronavirus in a church. Education may not be the number one priority in Russia, I don't know, but or maybe religion is just too strong. But there seems to be a genuine belief that some people think that in Russia, certainly, that you can't get a virus by being in a church surrounded by hundreds of other people. And yet theirs has really started to skyrocket as well. So Russia, not much different from Sweden. In fact, barely any. Only 47 deaths. Meanwhile, Sweden, 10 times that. So, should we be looking at Sweden or should we be looking at Russia for an example? But either way, both of them are going up fast. Then Australia, Australia seems to have brought it back down. Don't know what's going on here. Again, very few deaths, so that's good. 40 is still not a nice thing to have, but in comparison to others in this area, when did they even reach 100 cases? So they've been much more safe compared to other countries. South Korea, let's look at their number. Yeah, they went to full lockdown, hardcore lockdown, and they managed to get it under control. So South Korea, supremely densely packed country in their big cities. 186 deaths, so more confirmed cases than Sweden, but what's that? Less than half the number of total deaths, and they've been going for a lot longer period of time. So again, not Sweden wouldn't really classify as a fantastic example here. Brazil not looking super good. So anyway, the main ones are the USA, which seems to have had one day bringing it back down, but they were up at 33,000 new cases in a single day. That is pretty scary. But again, they have been testing a lot more than other countries. Italy still having thousands every day confirmed. And death-wise, they are keeping it under the 1,000 a day. I think the USA had over 1,000 people die in a single day Total deaths 9,654. We'll see what that's like in the next video. But France, so Germany, hold on, we've just noticed that Germany has passed the 100,000 mark with 1,540. So if we put that into perspective, they have got, if Sweden was 7,200, 12, 15, about 50, hold on. About 14 times the number of confirmed people with the virus. However, what was it? They were at 400, say, let's call that 500 compared to Germany, but only 3 times the number of deaths. So again, Germany being affected a lot more, but only 3 times the number of deaths compared, or 14 times more confirmed cases, but only 3 times more number of deaths than Sweden. Again, let's not show Sweden as a shining example here going on there. So yeah, there, and France, I think they may be getting, they had a very bad day at one point. What caused that? I'm not 100% sure. And China still saying, yeah, completely flatlining. So that's the total situation to date. Let's just have one more refresh of the total numbers from the time that started this video. Yeah, 1,289,380 confirmed cases, deaths 70,005. I suspect the way that these numbers are going will probably potentially reach 100,000 deaths very close to the same time we have 2 million confirmed cases. That seems to be what it's looking like. And the one thing I would say is also in the UK, the UK is saying we've had over 150,000 people tested. Let me just find the UK. Where's the UK numbers? United Kingdom. In the UK, I think we're saying we've had about 150,000 people tested. And out of the 150, 48, let's say a third of them, have been confirmed coronavirus carriers, cases. We've got to remember that's 150,000 people that are testing because they have symptoms. So that is still 150,000 people that are ill enough to require to go to either a hospital or to go to their doctor's surgery, that need maybe some form of medication, that have been tested. 150,000 people that are already ill, and currently we know that a third of them have coronavirus. So it's kind of scary, that thing. The other thing I've heard is that the number of people which are, when you're at the level of critical, so what's it called, mild cases is anything that you survive with by just staying at home. If you came out the other side, didn't need to go in an ambulance, that's considered to be mild. No matter how horrific it is for you, that's considered mild. It's only mild or severe/critical is the options that we have here. And the severe/critical, from what a doctor was saying on the news, is that it's a 50-50 chance of you making out of there. So you always want to be mild. No matter how horrible it is, being mild is the best way to have to suffer this illness. If you ever have to go to hospital, it's a very scary moment. And the other stories we're hearing is that when you're taken to hospital, you're not allowed, your family's not allowed to come see you. Your husband, wife, partner, children aren't allowed to see you. In some cases, kids are being taken to hospital and their parents are allowed to go with them. So, yeah, do your best to stay indoors. That's the UK government advice just now. Stay indoors as much as possible. It's not a full lockdown because we're allowed to go out for the following reasons: to get medicine, fair enough, to go shopping, That's what people go out for, to go to work or to do exercise. If you ask me, is that not the reason why everyone goes outside? You know, we've got no cinemas, we've got no pubs, we've got no restaurants, we've got no gyms. It's like, if you don't have social things to do other than going to work, going to the shops, doing exercise, and getting medicine, what other reasons would people go out for? I don't know, but certainly in my own situation in Edinburgh, it's the older generation that I'm seeing who are out on the streets more than the youths. It seems like all the older generation are loving the fact that the weather's got good. They're all off for a walk just now, out around the little streets and stuff. So yeah, it's there is a bit of a generational change going on here. It seems like the older generation seem to be less prepared or less willing to accept the draconian measures that the governments are trying to enforce. And the problem is that at the moment it's those four options, and don't gather in groups of more than two. I suspect with this good weather, because it's Easter weekend or it's Easter week for a lot of the schools around here, although the schools have already been off, I suspect there may be harsher controls on our freedom of movement coming very soon, because I think a lot of people have been not necessarily flouting the rules, but completely ignoring the rules or the requests by government, and I think that whole exercise and chemists and all that kind of stuff is going to have to be, if you want something, you have to order it. You have to get it delivered. And the only people that are allowed to go to work are delivery men and doctors. We'll see. But yeah, so that's where we're currently at on, what day is this? The 6th at 2:22 p.m. The 6th of April. January, March, April. Yeah. There you go. Bye-bye.